What is up, XRP and crypto community? Welcome back to another video. Thank you for joining me. I want to talk about the news from yesterday, the Bitcoin ETFs getting approved, the effect this is going to have on the market, and then a clip from CNBC where they talk about a bridge currency to transfer big sums of fiat money, and it's exactly what XRP does. So yesterday when the news dropped, you did see a little bit of a spike on Bitcoin, but on the 4-hour chart, it's looking like a little blow off top on 49K. This was just like 2 hours ago. Bitcoin is at 49K. Now it's at 46K. Who knows what's going to happen? I'm not going to speculate on that, but it will be very volatile. So yesterday, if you didn't see the news yet, all 11 Bitcoin ETF applications were approved. They're calling this an historic day for crypto. James Seyfarth says the CME futures market and their impact and effectiveness in surveillance can pretty much guarantee the SEC did not intend for anyone outside the SEC to get their hands on this document or link yet. So the document was leaked from the SEC and they deleted it right away, but all of these ETFs have been approved. Brad Garlinghouse says the significance of this moment cannot be overstated. Congrats to all who have worked to get the Bitcoin spot ETFs approved. Today's further news furthers legitimization of crypto as an asset class. I expect this will be yet another catalyst for institutional investment adoption, ideally leading the industry to focus outside primarily speculative to broader real-world use cases underpinning that legitimization. And speaking of real-world use cases, I want to talk about tokenizing real-world assets on the blockchain, which is something Ripple is going to do in the future. Ripple's bread and butter right now is cross-border payments, but in the future, Ripple is going to be doing a lot more than cross-border payments. I get this analogy a lot this week. Think of Amazon in the early days. They just were an online bookstore. Now look at Amazon and all these different things they do. They have Amazon Web Services, Amazon.com, right? They sell a lot more than books. And think of that as Ripple right now with cross-border payments. In the future, I do believe Ripple's going to be doing a lot more than that. Really quick, guys, if you need a spot to get XRP or Flare, check out Uphold. It's sleek, it's simple, it's secure. It's where I get my XRP daily. You can find a link to Uphold in the video description below. If you want $41 for free, sign up with Webull, deposit 1 penny, and you get $41 in free stock shares. Sell your stocks, close your account, do whatever you want with that 41 bucks. You can find a link to Webull in the video description below. So a lot of people are speculating with these Bitcoin ETFs. Are we going to go to the moon or are we going to dump? This article is titled, "This is Why Bitcoin Won't Crash 30% After the ETF Decision." And they talk about long-term Bitcoin holders, okay? 70% right here. Given the tailwinds of the ETF approval, I don't anticipate strong selling pressure that some are predicting. We need only to take a look at the current Bitcoin investment dynamics to see that a 30% sell-off does not make sense. As of October, the percentage of long-term Bitcoin holders is at 76%. I did some research. A long-term Bitcoin holder is what it sounds like. Someone who's not holding Bitcoin for the short term. I think it's classified as anyone holding Bitcoin for over 155 days, so almost half a year. And this percentage of 76% of all Bitcoin being in long-term holders is the highest level of history. You could deduce that long-term holders are not looking to sell in the short term. It is what it sounds like. This is exactly what they have been waiting for, and most are anticipating an all-time high of 100,000 or more. I don't think this happens. I do think there will be a correction. However, in just 3 months, we have the Bitcoin halving, where the amount of Bitcoin coming out into the market is cut in half, happens every 4 years, and that typically ignites the next bull run. So if you combine these Bitcoin ETFs with the fact that the Bitcoin halving is coming up, I think that's very bullish. And they talk about with these ETFs, almost $11 billion could come into the market. They say, what's more, the ambitious acquisition asset goals reveal an expectation that this launch will bring billions into Bitcoin in a short space of time. Not only Bitcoin, any money that's coming into crypto is good for all of crypto because the rising tide raises all ships. Bitcoin goes on its run, and then after it settles down, that's when altcoins go on the run. The ETF providers have done their research and spoken to multiple clients over the past few months, so their estimates may be the most reliable of all. As such, if BlackRock, Invesco, and ARK meet their targets, this is just 3 out of the 11 ETFs. The 3 of them alone could bring $11 billion into Bitcoin within 12 months. And if you look at what happened with gold ETFs, they call Bitcoin digital gold. And maybe it's not right to compare these two, but you can see gold went on an 8-year bull run after the gold ETF was approved. This is November 2004. Gold is about $400 an ounce. And over the next 8 years, there were a few corrections, but gold pretty much just went up forever. Okay? So if you want to compare the gold ETF to the Bitcoin ETF, I think that's very bullish. And it kind of makes sense, right? Like I was just saying, in potentially the next 12 months, we could have $11 billion of institutional money coming into the market, and that's good for the market. So look at this clip here from Fox Business News. All right, take a listen.
No, I would agree because we haven't yet made the jump where there is institutional buy-in. And I like to use the example, if the Bank of Mitsubishi in Tokyo needs to transfer $100 million worth of yen to the New York branch and convert it to dollars, you need $100 million worth of yen in Tokyo and $100 million worth of dollars in New York. You're tying up $200 million in capital. If you can attach that to a coin, it's simultaneously so the bank frees up half the capital. That's a big deal. But we haven't made that jump yet.
Yeah, but it looks like it's coming, doesn't it?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they're describing exactly what XRP does, talking about transferring $100 million from Japan to the US. That ties up $200 million in capital for 48 to 72 hours. Now, only if you could attach that to a coin and make it instantaneous, that would save a lot of time and it would save a lot of money. And this is coming out yesterday, right after they greenlighted these ETFs and they opened the floodgates of institutional money. They don't mention XRP, but they're describing exactly what XRP does. And this is a cool tweet from Anthony Pompliano. He's one of these Bitcoin maximalists. This is back from 2017 during that bull run, so maybe he was a little bit drunk in his gains. He says, if you think Bitcoin went on a tear once CNBC and institutional investors learned about it, just wait until they discover Ripple XRP. Bitcoin, if you've ever read the white paper, was not designed to be digital gold. That's the narrative around Bitcoin these days. It was designed to be peer-to-peer money, and it's failed in that aspect for a lot of different reasons. I can make a whole different video on that, but essentially a lot of companies did a coup d'etat on Bitcoin, and they limited how much data could go into all these blocks to the point where Bitcoin cannot scale anymore. It's actually a really interesting story how these companies kind of ruined Bitcoin. However, the vision of cryptocurrency in Bitcoin, the first one ever, was to be peer-to-peer payments. That failed. But a few years after that, what came out? XRP. And XRP does exactly what they're talking about here on Fox Business News. If you could tie big money transfers to a coin and not lock up money for 2 to 3 days, that would be very innovative and adopted. And that's exactly what Ripple does. I was talking about tokenizing real-world assets earlier, okay? I think this is one of the big areas that Ripple's going to go to in the future. In a recent interview, David Schwartz, CTO of Ripple, shared the evolution of the XRP ledger, expressing joy that the technology behind the XRP ledger is gaining recognition beyond its native token. The shift highlights that XRP ledger tech itself is becoming a captivating force in finance. Schwartz pointed out the growing interest from major financial players in XRPL's tech, fitting in with predictions that tokenization market could hit 30 trillion by 2030. While users can still do regular XRP transactions, Schwartz stressed that the real game changer is XRPL's ability to tokenize real-world assets. Take a listen.
I'm hoping that we're going to see, as real-world asset tokenization projects grow, I think the XRP ledger is going to be a really good platform for them to launch on, particularly because of the low fees and because of the integration with the DEX, with the proximity to sort of the movement of funds. The ability, if someone's going to buy What do you want to do with a real world tokenized asset? You want to buy it, you want to sell it, you want to hold it, you want to transfer it. And if you want to buy it and sell it, you want to be able to do that with whatever asset is convenient for you. You don't want to tie, if you tokenize some sort of debt, like you don't want to tie it to US dollars, because then that limits access to it to people who have sort of proximity to US dollars. One of the things the XRP ledger is good for is giving you sort of proximity to many different assets, and that exchange is seamlessly built in. So I think that's one of the many reasons why the XRP ledger is going to be a good place to launch tokenized real world assets. I think we'll see that in the next year and a half.
So we're talking stocks, we're talking money market funds. All of these things, in my opinion, will be tokenized on the blockchain in the future. And don't listen to me, listen to Ripple CTO, brilliant guy, saying the exact same thing. Guys, thanks for watching my video. If you enjoy daily crypto content, subscribe, really supports the channel. And I hope you guys have a great Friday, have a great weekend. Until next time.